Nostalgia. It ain't what it used to be. Welcome to the Nossies, where we celebrate nostalgia. I'm your host, Arnos, and today we're looking at martial arts movies from the 80s, and giving the best one a Nossie Award. There's nothing quite like a martial arts movie, where you can leave the ordinary world behind, watch the good guys beat up the bad guys with their bare hands, and maybe the occasional deadly weapon. Do you remember that feeling walking out of the cinema, feeling 10 foot tall, that somehow you'd absorb the fighting powers to kick some villain's ass? If you do remember, or even if you don't and need a refresher, then we've got some great movies for you. Let's get nostalgic about martial arts in the 80s. The Karate Kid, 1984. Directed by John G. Albertson. Starring Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso, aka The Karate Kid. Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi. Elizabeth Shue as Ali. William Zabka as Johnny. Martin Kove as John Kreese. And Randy Heller as Lucille Russo. The Karate Kid starts with a teenage boy who, along with his mother, moves from New Jersey to California. His eternally optimistic mother is very excited about the move, but Daniel is anything but, and immediately misses his friends. Soon, however, he's invited to a beach party and things begin to look up. At the party he meets a girl, but they are soon interrupted by her ex-boyfriend, and this is when the shit starts to get real. Pretty soon, while defending his new love interest, he gets involved in a fight with what appears to be a teenage karate master, who promptly beats the shit out of him. Fronting school, he tries out for the school soccer team, but is provoked again by the karate posse that beat him up on the beach. Again, Daniel doesn't back down, but is kicked out of tryouts. After that, he's again attacked by the karate cabal as he cycles home, falling down a steep slope and sustaining even more injuries. He then makes a connection with Mr. Miyagi, the maintenance man for his apartment building. He also knows karate, and a friendship begins as Mr. Miyagi teaches him how to fight.
Hey, what kind of belt do you have?
Canvas. You like? J.C. Penney, 398.
No, I didn't mean a belt like that. I meant...
Okinawa belt mean no need rope, hold up pants.
That's funny. How did you do that? How did you do that?
Don't know. First time.
He looks very pleased with himself.
Wax on. Right hand, make a circle. Wax off, left hand, circle. Wax on, wax off.
In the 80s, the term wax on, wax off was prevalent. The old crane technique. Every kid in the 80s tried this at least once.
What was that you doing on those stumps over there?
Called crane technique.
Does it work?
If do right, you can defense.
Could you teach me?
First learn stand, then learn fly. Make your rule on your son, not mine.
Of course, there's the iconic scene where Daniel messes with Johnny and the Cobra Kai, who are dressed in skeleton costumes, chase him across the field. I always think when Daniel runs outside, it's just stay with the adults, don't run across the field. I hate it when he gets to the fence. He's almost over, but they drag him down. Oh, I can't believe in this movie how much of a beating this kid takes. At one stage, one of them even says, maybe we should stop here, you know, we might even kill this kid.
Point! Round kick! Finish him!
Yep, this is typical of the Cobra Kai. Now watch this guy just limping off.
We do not train to be merciful here. Mercy is for the weak. Here, on the street, in competition. A man confronts you, he is the enemy. An enemy deserves no mercy. What is the problem, Mr. Lawrence?
Power healing!
The president!
Daniel LaRusso's gonna fight!
Daniel LaRusso's gonna fight? Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that.
No, Sensei.
No mercy.
Even Johnny's having second thoughts. Okay, here we have Johnny sweeping the leg. Daniel's not going to stand for that. Okay, here we go. The old crane technique. Go for it, Daniel. Awesome. Illegal headshot for the win. Final thoughts. The acting is great, especially the connection between Daniel and Mr. Miyagi. The story is great. There's so much heart. It still hits people in the feels 40 years later. The delivery to screen is great. Every scene serves a purpose. Overall, I'd describe it as a classic. American Ninja 1985, directed by Sam Furstenberg, starring Michael Dudikoff as Joe, Steve James as Jackson, Judy Aronson as Patricia, Gooch Cook as Colonel Hickok, John LaMotta as Ronaldo, Philip Rock as Charlie, John Fujioka as Shinyuki, Don Stewart as Ortega, and Tadashi Yamashita as the Black Star Ninja. American Ninja follows Joe, who was found as a child on a Pacific island with amnesia, and after a troubled upbringing in the US, ends up in front of a judge where he's given two options: prison or the army. He picks the army and ends up on a base that's being targeted by an army of ninjas, which is incredibly lucky because he knows ninjutsu. This is the getting to know you fight between Joe and Jackson. You see how Jackson goes and grabs his shoulder? This is exactly what they teach in ninjutsu. Someone always grabs your shoulder first. And this thing where you're supposed to not see but sense the enemy, they do train that too. I love this ridiculously slow car crash that ends in a fireball.
This is my private army.
A freaking hypercolor ninja army. Fantastic. For those unaware, hypercolor was a t-shirt in the 80s that changed color with temperature and highlighted armpit sweat. There are some pretty ridiculous weapons and skills used in this movie. Let's take a look. Swords. Fair enough. A rope dart used as boulders. Throwing stars. Throwing bear claws. Smoke invisibility. Arrow catching. Knuckle guns. Fireball. A freaking laser. And actual invisibility. This has got to be one of the most alpha moves ever. Final thoughts. Let's just say Michael Dudikoff is the silent type. There's plenty of great action, but the best thing about this movie is that it has a crap load of ninjas, and sometimes that's all you need. The Karate Kid Part 2, 1986, directed by John G. Alvinson, starring Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso, Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi, Tamlin Tomita as Kumiko, Nobu McCarthy as Yuki, Danny Kamakona as Sato, and Yuji Okamoto as Shosun. 6 months after winning the All Valley Karate Tournament, things are not going well for Daniel-san. He's on the rocks with Ali, who has broken his car, and is unsure of what direction to take for his studies. Mr. Miyagi receives news of his sick father and needs to travel home to Okinawa. Daniel convinces his friend that he can tag along. What follows is an education in friendship and loss.
Hey, Mr. Miyagi, isn't that him?
Hey,
Hey, can you break a log like that?
don't know. Never been attacked by a tree.
Doesn't that bother you?
Why should it?
Other people might believe it's true or something.
Daniel-san, lie become truth only if person wanna believe it.
Is that another old Okinawan saying?
No, new Okinawa saying.
How new?
About 10 seconds.
The scene where Daniel offers words of comfort to Mr. Miyagi after his father dies is quite touching.
You know, my father died, I spent a lot of time thinking I wasn't such a great son. Like maybe I could have listened a little more, spent some more time with him together. I felt so guilty, you know, like he did everything for me and I didn't do anything for him. And then one day I realized I did the greatest thing for him before he died. I was there with him, and I held his hand and said goodbye.
Of course, there's a final battle between Daniel and Chosen, and I love the way he makes his entrance. Old Crane failed! I love the tension of the drums.
Live or die, man. Die. Wrong.
Final thoughts. Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita once again deliver performances that represent their deep friendship. The story is a good direction after the American school-based original, and it's very interesting to delve deep into Mr. Miyagi's backstory and to raise the stakes. Visually, they show the beauty of the Okinawan culture and deliver a convincing enemy. Overall, this is a good follow-up to the original and well worth watching. Above the Law, 1988. Directed by Andrew Davis. Starring Steven Seagal as Nico Toscani, Pam Grier as Dolores Jackson, Sharon Stone as Sarah Toscani, Henry Silva as Zagon, Ron Dean as Detective Lukic, Daniel Feraldo as Tony Salvano, Joe Greco as Father Gennaro, and Chelsea Ross as Nelson Fox. Above the Law is about an ex-Vietnam Special Forces operative who works as a cop in Chicago. During an investigation, he discovers a drug smuggling operation, which also links back to his time in Vietnam. He then fights his way through corruption and the entire criminal organization to show no one is above the law. This is Steven Seagal's first movie, and I love the way they introduce him with the background and all the martial arts pictures. It's awesome. This guy says, "Don't do me ugly." Mate, you should have thought about that before you got that mullet. I love it how the gangsters and cops are giving each other shit.
Have a good time, okay? But take it easy, will you? Toscani holds the record for having more relatives under federal indictment than any other cop in the city of Chicago.
Look at those stiff dicks. A free meal and they come out like flies.
Hey, you greaseball bastard!
Didn't we buy that monkey once?
Okay, let's watch Steven Seagal kick some ass.
Police.
No, mister!
Hey, what's up with my friend, man?
Hey, man, I'm not in the mood.
Your mood, man.
What's happening, brother?
What'd it be like, homie?
What'd it be like, homie? Final thoughts. This is Steven Seagal's first movie, and I think he does well. He's got a strong screen presence. Out of all the guys with long hair in the movie, he is definitely the coolest. As a contribution to the martial arts genre, it brought Aikido into the public consciousness. So, a kudos for that.
Oh, that's great.
Overall, so what's so great about the movie? I'll tell you what's great about it. Steven Seagal kicking ass for 99 minutes with an I don't give a shit attitude. Also, the overall message is great. No one is above the law. Bloodsport, 1988. Directed by Newt Arnold. Starring Jean-Claude Van Damme as Frank Dukes, Bolo Yeung as Chong Li, Donald Gibb as Ray Jackson, Leah Ayres as Janice Kent, Norman Burton as Helmer, Forrest Whitaker as Rawlins, and Ken Sue as Victor. Bloodsport is the story of Frank Jukes, an American who is invited to compete in an underground martial arts tournament called the Kumite, where fighters battle to win, sometimes to the death, in front of an audience that enthusiastically bets on the outcome. That's it, nothing more complex than that. But then again, does it really need to be? Bola Young is a great martial artist, and he is terrifying as the villain in this. What can I say? Jean-Claude Van Damme is fantastic. He loves a good slow-mo. What advice do you give a young Jean-Claude Van Damme who wants to show off his butt?
Do it. And let the English see you do it.
I don't know what to tell you, but expect if you watch a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, you're gonna see some splits.
That hurts me just looking at it.
We can't wait any longer.
Come on, give me one more minute.
We must follow the rules.
Where's Mr. Deuce? You know, I wish everyone would just calm down. I said he'll be here.
Too late.
Too late? No such thing as too late. Finally.
And of course, we've got the final fight. Final thoughts. Look, Bloodsport is great. There's so many fights, it's fantastic. If you haven't seen it in a while, or you haven't seen it at all, go watch it.
This is for you, Shidoshi.
Kickboxer 1989. Directed by Mark DeSalle and David Worth. Starring Jean-Claude Van Damme as Kurt Sloan, Dennis Alexio as Eric Sloan, Dennis Chan Kwok-san as Jean Chow, Michelle Kesey as Tong Po, Rochelle Ashana as Mai Li, and Haskell Anderson as Winston Taylor. When a cocky American kickboxing champion travels to Thailand to fight their best, he is beaten and paralysed by the Thai champion Tong Po. His brother Kurt, vowing revenge, finds a trainer to guide him in a kickboxing training montage so he can fight Tong Po. Man, I love Winston in this movie.
Jesus Christ, get off of me! You know you can give Americans a bad rap.
Brother! Hey, we're trying to help you. Take us to a hospital. There's 2 more fights.
Asshole would have probably taken you to a whorehouse. By the way, my name's Taylor. Army Special Forces, retired. Sort of. Hang on, my man. You're riding the fastest wheels in Bangkok.
You will. Let's go.
Now? Now, we're going drinking now.
I don't want to drink.
If you want me to take you tomorrow, we go drinking tonight. It's the deal. It looks pretty mean to me. And tough.
Thanks, Taylor. What about Xian? What does he have to tell me?
Chuckman. Roughly translated, kick the fucker's ass.
Everybody loves a montage. Let's watch the final battle with Tong Po. If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. Final thoughts. The physical performance from Jean-Claude Van Damme is great. He's clearly a talented martial artist. It's a revenge story, pure and simple, with an ample training montage. Overall, it's a fun watch. Best of the Best, 1989. Directed by Robert Radler, starring James L. Jones as Coach Kuzo, Eric Roberts as Alex Grady, Philip Reed as Tommy Lee, Chris Penn as Travis Brickley, John Dye as Virgil, David Agresta as Sonny Grazo, Tom Everett as Don Peterson, and Sally Kirkland as Catherine Wade. In the Best of the Best, a United States karate team is assembled to compete against Korea in a Taekwondo tournament. They begin to train together, but there are differences in the team. Specifically, Travis, played by Chris Penn, is a bullying dick. Can they all get along together and win? Let's watch and see. They really weren't shy about making Coach Kuzo look like a hard ass.
Please! My name is Frank Kuzo. To you, I'm either Coach or Mr. Kuzo. Starting tomorrow, you are mine for the next 3 months. That means no women, no alcohol, no drugs. You will eat, sleep, and shit competition.
I like how they introduced the Koreans, not North or South, just the Koreans. And I like how they showed this like propaganda footage. It's cool, I like it. And what do you know, there's a training montage. And of course, there's the final battle with the Koreans of the tournament. Final thoughts. The story's fairly straightforward, but it moves at a good pace. I love the way they introduced the Korean opponents. You always gotta love a great training montage. Overall, the best thing about this movie is that it has a good heart. Okay, let's award the first ever Nossie. The nominations are The Karate Kid, American Ninja, The Karate Kid Part 2, Above the Law, Bloodsport, Kickboxer, and Best of the Best. And the winner of the Nossie for Best Martial Arts Movie of the 80s goes to The Karate Kid, 1984. This movie was just better on all levels. Acting, story, production. Congratulations to everyone involved. I'd also like to thank everyone involved in all the other nominated movies. Your efforts are much appreciated. Want to get even more nostalgic? Then do yourself a favour and buy a Blu-Ray or a DVD of the nominated movies. And there's even some Nossie merch if you're into that sort of thing. See links below for suggestions. And finally, thanks to you for watching. Hit like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you at the Nossies.